I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the best books I read in 2024. So yes, these are all like my top favorites, books that really made an impact on me. These are anywhere between 4 and 5 stars. Yeah, because I kind of rate it on base, not necessarily how I rate the book, because I have several books that were like 5 stars, but I wouldn't exactly call them my favorites. It's kind of weird, but yeah, these are books that definitely made an impact on me, surprised me in a number of different ways, and made me remember them. Yeah, there's just a different like, so yeah, there's just different things that made me remember these books more than some of the other ones, even if I only gave them like a 4 star, or if I gave the other books a 5 star, but those didn't make it to this list. So, I hope that's not confusing. But yeah, it's just kind of like what made an impact on me most of all, like from beginning to the end of the year. So yeah, that's how I determine that, even if it doesn't make a ton of sense. And I apologize if my nose is very red. I keep blowing my nose. I've been having an allergy attack for the last like week or so, which is kind of why this video is so late. But anyways, I'm fine now. I just keep blowing my nose for absolutely no reason. But anyways, we're just gonna get into all the books. There's actually quite a few. There's 50 in total. So yeah, I had 50 favorite books from this year, which is crazy. And yeah, some of these books I like went back through my reading journal looking at them, and I was just like, I read that this year, and you know, some of them I forgot I had read these this year, and then other ones it was just like so obvious. But yeah, so we're just gonna dive right in with the first one, which is actually the first of 2 nonfiction on here. So yeah, it's a couple of nonfiction got on here, and this one was one of the ones I was surprised I read this year, because I thought I read it last year, but apparently I didn't. Or this was the one I finished at the beginning of this year, so I ended up counting it for this year. I don't know, whatever. Either way, that is Back to Him by Michaela Bush. This is a 30-day devotional on giving up old hurts and relying on God. I really enjoyed this. I'm not going to go into great detail about any of these books. I should have specified that beforehand. But, yeah, I'm not going to go into any great detail because we will be here forever otherwise. And you guys have already seen an extremely long video from me with my December reading wrap-up. So we're going to keep it kind of short. But anyways, I really enjoyed this. Michaela, this is her first devotional. She did another one last year as well. And I think she's going to be writing more. She does a really good job with devotionals. I really have been enjoying these. And this one was definitely very helpful. And yeah, I really enjoyed this, which obviously I did. It's on this list. But either way, this is the first book. And then we have Aliferous. That may not be, or it's Aliferous, I'm not sure, by Alissa J. Zavalianos. This is a collection of like short stories, poems, and things like that, all revolving around birds. And I got an ARC for this book way at the beginning of this year, and I really enjoyed this. This cover is gorgeous. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, there were some stories and poems and stuff that didn't click with me, but other ones really did. And yeah, I really like the whole concept that it's surrounding around birds, because I really like birds. So I really liked that, and some of these stories were just so stinking good. I really enjoyed this. Then we have this one. Oh, this one's probably one of my top favorites of this year. I'm not gonna like rank them or anything because I do not have the brain power or the motivational skills for that. But yeah, and that is Cinders, Stars, and Glass Slippers by Brittany Fichter. Cinderella retelling, a chunk of a book, but worth every page, every word. I love this book. This book is like my favorite Cinderella retelling in book form of all time. And Anakin just got stuck in my hair. That's fun. Anyways, yeah, I really loved this book. This book was amazing. I highly recommend this one. Like, it's really good. But yeah, favorite Cinderella retelling of all time, probably. Yeah, I would say that. But yeah, really good, and I super love this cover. It's very pretty. Then we have another Cinderella retelling, which I read, I think I read it before or after I read Cinders, Stars, and Glass Slippers. I forget, but I read like 3 Cinderella retellings, one right after the other. Yeah, that is A Midnight Prince by Angie. Yeah, I do not know how to say her last name. She has a pronunciation, I think, on either Goodreads or her, like on her Goodreads or Amazon author page, but it's not in the back of this book. I just checked. So I have no idea how to say her name, But yeah, this is part of the Once Upon a Prince series. I think this is the second one I read in the series. The first one was The Crownless Prince, which I read last year. Which I read in 2023. I can't just say last year anymore. But this one really surprised me. I was not expecting to like this one. This one has a gorgeous cover. I really like it. I first read it as an ebook that I got for free because originally I wasn't going to read this one. Because, I don't know, I thought from the back, like, it's kind of like a second chance romance, and I kind of thought from the back that, I don't know, it would be like, they'd be, like, really crabby with each other, but they were actually really mature about the whole thing, and it's, like, it's not even, like, their fault. It's, like, this weird thing where they think the other one betrayed them, dumped them, whatever, but then when they actually come back together, like, several years later, and then they actually tell each other what the other one did, and then they're like, I didn't do that. And then they're like, somebody here has messed up memory. And we're also doing the Fae course because the prince, he's a Fae. She's half Fae, I think? Or she's a human. I think she might no, she's a half human. So yeah, she's half Fae, I think. But yeah, so both of them are like, what is going on? But our memories got switched or swiped or something like that. Yeah, they got like switched or like somebody's memory got tampered with. So then they kind of have to go into this detective mode. And yeah, it was just really good. I really enjoyed this. Thought a lot about it after I read it. And yeah, it took me a while to actually decide to get the physical copy, but I'm really glad I did because I really enjoyed this one. Then we have another crowned jewel of the year, and that is the Magic on Main Street series by Shea. This is the next trilogy in the Magifor Supernatural City universe. I just grabbed my hair and dropped my book. This is everywhere. But yeah, this trilogy is awesome. Really enjoyed this. I read this with my family. We all really loved it. The first book is The Lies of Vampires and Slayers. We're following a vampire slayer and a vampire. Those are our two main characters. And yeah, it's kind of like on a magical police task force, and it's really good. Really enjoyed this. The second book is The Games of Enemies and Allies. Sorry about the glare. And the third one, which is my absolute favorite, I gave both of these 4.5 stars. I gave this one 5 stars. This one was my absolute favorite in the trilogy. That is The Order of Blood and Ruin. And yeah, really, really enjoyed these. Yeah, if you like urban fantasy or paranormal romance, read these books. All of the Magifor books, they are amazing. Even if you don't, you just want to try some paranormal romance or urban fantasy, I would recommend these. They're clean, there's nothing weird in them, and they're really good stories with really great characters. So yeah, highly recommend all of these series in this universe. But yeah, this one was really good and definitely a favorite series for this year. Then we have the first superhero book of this list by, of course, the queen of superhero novels, H.L. Burke, that is engaged to a supervillain. This is the fourth book in the Supervillain romance project series. I adored this. This was so good, so cute. Also, really dangerous, and there's some torture involved, but you know, this is me. Of course, I'm gonna like something where it's like, I think this is cute and fluffy, but there's torture involved. That's just my personality. If you don't know that by now you do. But yeah, I just really adored this. This was so much fun. Really, really loved this. And then to continue on the superhero track, I read one of my first Marvel comics. This is a kid's comic, and that is The Living Nightmare. I really liked this. This surprised me. So, yeah, I was just trying it because I've been getting more into trying different, like, comics and graphic novels and stuff, but the adult ones weren't really working for me, of Marvel, so I went with this kids series, and this, of the Marvel Action Avengers one, this was the only one my library had at the time, so I went ahead and got this one, even though it's, like, fourth in the series. You could totally read it as a standalone, it's fine. But yeah, it just really surprised me with how well written it was and how much it's like, ooh, I want to know what's going on, like, what is going on in Steve's head and things like that, and I just really liked the character dynamics, the kind of, like, more dystopian feel of, like, what if they lost, that sort of thing, and then how would they cope with that, and yeah, I just really liked this. It was a big surprise, and yeah, and you kind of have to figure out what's real, what's not real, like, is this all just in Captain America's head? Is this real? What is going on? And really enjoyed it. So yeah, this one's on here because I read it twice actually this year, and it just really surprised me because I figured I'd like it, but I didn't think I would like it this much. So yeah, this one was definitely a surprise, which is why it is on this list. And then we have another comic. This is a different Marvel Kids Comics series, which is actually out of print. Actually, I think Marvel Action is too. But anyways, at least the paperback copies. At least I had to get them used from Amazon. But anyways, this one also came from my library, and that is the... I forget the series name, but anyways, it's here on the cover. And that is Weirder and Wilder. This one is like the 7th in the series or something. These you definitely don't have to read in order. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm putting this on here for the last story in it because the last story in this comic like made my like day, year. Every time I think about it, I just start laughing because it was so hilarious and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's basically part of the Avengers go to a county fair, and then Captain America and Iron Man are left back in New York to like keep track of things and stuff, and they end up having to break up these like phone scammers who like keep calling them on the phone, and they're just like, all right, we gotta take these guys down. And it was like hilarious. I just really loved this one. So yeah, that's why this one's on here, even though it's a 4-star. But yeah, I just, every time I think about that story, I smile and I start laughing because it was just that good. And then we have another surprising one. This one actually came out this year. I bought the ebook full price, which I very rarely do. I generally wait until they're on sale or I have some kind of like promotion thing so I can get them for a discount or whatever. But this one was a shock. It is a Christian paranormal romance in kind of in the vein of Twilight but with no vampires. And that is Lightning Angel by Cara Daliath. I don't know if that's the author's last name. I apologize if I pronounced it incorrectly. This one was a shock. I was first of all drawn in because it had a gorgeous cover. Then I was drawn in because it said Christian paranormal romance, and I was like, ooh, how's that gonna work? I'm very intrigued. And yeah, this one was so much fun. A little draggy in the middle, I will admit, because like around the 60% mark, it was kind of dragging a bit, but it was like, I'm already so invested in this, I don't care, and it picked up after that, so it was fine. Yeah, this was just, it was so precious, so cute. I'm eagerly waiting for the second book whenever it comes out. You can read this as a standalone, but clearly at the end, like with the last chapter, it is clear that there's more to come. And yeah, I'm very, very intrigued and interested to see where this goes. I really love the characters in this. I love the whole scenario. Yeah, it was just really good. So yeah, definitely recommend that one if you're looking for, again, like the urban fantasy, paranormal romance aspect, but you want a Christian bent to it. This one was really good. And I'm interested to see how she continues to weave in like faith content through the next few books in the series. I don't know how long the series is going to be. I do know at the end she did say there's another one. So I'm assuming there's going to be like 2 or 3 total. I don't know though. So I'll just be surprised along with everyone else when the books come out. This one is also by another new to me author because Karen, author of Lightning Angel, that was a new author. And that is Just Rue. So I read this book, Bound by Death, and wow. I was really surprised by this. It's kind of a mix of like Egyptian mythology and Greek mythology with fae, and it was really interesting and really good. I gave this one 4.5 stars. Really good. I was very shocked by this one. Definitely has made me eye Jess Drew's more of her books. I have several on ebook. I just haven't been in the mood to get to them. But this one, like, really surprised me. But I just really enjoyed this one. More than I thought I would. Like, I kind of figured from the description I might. But yeah, this just superseded all my expectations and really enjoyed this. It does have a couple of fade to black scenes between a married couple though, so keep that in mind if you do want to read this one. There's a couple things like that. I know some people don't like any of that at all, but it's between a married couple and nothing's really shown or detailed or anything like that, so I was fine with it. But that is in there if you are interested. But yeah, I definitely am going to check into more of her books this year. Hopefully, my mood will allow me. Hopefully. Have yet another comic graphic novel. This one's a graphic novel. This one shocked me. I went into it kind of not really knowing what I was getting into. I was just like, oh, this is by the same illustrator as a different comic I read, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting, and like, I've always kind of liked Superman, but I never really, like, gotten into, like, comics or anything like that, or even, like, the movies, with, like, Superman and stuff like that, but I've always, like, liked the character. It's kind of a weird thing. But anyways, that Superman smashes the Klan. I, like, literally had no expectations going into this. Like, I was just kind of like, sounds interesting, and my library had it, so I got it out, and this really, blew any expectations and no expectations I had out of the water, and I really enjoyed this. This was really good, really thought-provoking and deep, while also just being a fun story as well, and not beating you over the head with a message. You know, modern entertainment, take some notes, because this wasn't published that long ago, and yeah, they could still write decent stories. They don't really bother now, but you know, that's a different rant for a different time. Anyways, this one was really good though. Definitely blew my expectations away, and mainly because I didn't really have many, but also at the same time, it, like, didn't decrease any expectations I had, so I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever. I really enjoyed this one. If you're looking for a graphic novel about Superman that talks about, kind of like talks about the subject of racism, but without beating you over the head with it into, like, you know, crowbarring you into submission to think this way, yeah, this one's a good one. I really enjoyed it, and also it's just a fun story at the same time. So, yeah, really enjoyed this one. And now we have another Michaela Bush book. Okay, wow, that sounded weird. Anyways, that is Faith, Hope, and Love Collection, Volume 2. This is a collection of short stories. This is Christian contemporary romance, and it's a sequel to her previous 3-novel series with Faith, Hope, and Love Collection 1, and I just really loved that story, so it was really fun seeing these characters again in different environments and just different areas of their lives. So yeah, I just really enjoyed it for that. Also, I just really like the cover. It's very pretty, and the inside is also very pretty, with each character being listed with a frame thing, and then, yeah, just the font for it, and yeah, I just really love this book inside and out, and yeah, I've just adored being with these characters again. I'm definitely got to reread the novels at some point, but yeah, I just really loved revisiting these characters in these stories. I have another surprise, that is Assassin of Fire and Sacrifice by Mary Meckham. Now, I've been hearing my friends raving about Mary Meckham's books since last year, I think, because a lot of people on here, because a lot of the people I follow and a lot of my friends on here, they read Becoming Hook last year. I think it was, actually, no, not last year, 2023. Actually, I think a lot of them read in 2024 anyways. Anyways, there was a huge thing going around with the Becoming Hook book. I haven't read that one yet. I do have it. I just haven't been in the mood for it yet. But yeah, but I also then heard a couple of people, Celestia and Lindsay, were talking about this book they had just read, and I was very curious. I had the ebook. I don't know if I got it on sale. I forget how I got it, but and yeah, I read this one, loved it. It's fantasy. It's like it's kind of like it's an arranged marriage. Yeah, it's an arranged marriage. The banter is unreal. I really enjoyed, like, I didn't really well, I don't know, the political side was interesting, which is kind of unique for me. I don't really like the political side most in fantasy, or it's like I like enough of it to, like, tell me what's going on with the story and, like, ground me, but not so much that it's just like, this is political fantasy and now I am frustrated and bored. But there was action. The banter is what sold me. Like, the banter between the friends to begin with, and then between the couple, top tier. I just, like, that's what drew me in with it, and then, like, the conundrum that our main character was going through, and I just really enjoyed this one, and definitely looking forward to trying more by this author. Then we have another one, which is the My Hero Academia manga series. This one, I actually wasn't going to read, but then, my mom, after she read the Finding God an Anime devotional, I told her, hey, if any of those animes that they're talking about sound interesting to you, let me know. And she said My Hero Academia was one of them, based on some of the pieces that some people had written. So I was like, okay. And I really like superhero stuff anyways, so I was like, okay, I'll try that. And since I couldn't, actually my library does have the anime, but I figured, hey, I'll try reading the manga first, because if anything weird pops up in the manga, it's probably going to be in the anime, and we'll just nix it. But, yeah, I'm currently 16 volumes into this series and loving it. I'm really enjoying this. The characters, the scenarios they're in, the whole superhero aspect. I'm really enjoying this series. Pretty much all the volumes, I think all of them, maybe one might have been a 3-star, but anyways, all of them have been like 4 stars. I'm super enjoying this series and very intrigued to see where it goes. This is a continuation because I have not, as of filming this, I haven't continued as of now. I have some of the volumes, but I just haven't continued. But I really, really like this. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying more. In the same vein, I did try the first 2 Sailor Moon volumes. This is an older manga series, and I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes, volume 1 and 2. There was just something very basic and wholesome and fun about that story that I just really drew me in. And then like the love story, especially in volume 2, that one just like, it just ripped my heart out, and at the same time put it back together, and I just loved it. I am so sad that the series kind of went downhill after that, and I can't really recommend it because the dumb volume 2 ends on a cliffhanger that if you don't know the rest of the story, it's like you're going to be asking, and then if you read further, it's like it gets weird. I'm going to be talking about those volumes in my most disappointed most disappointing books video. But yeah, this one just, I loved the first 2 volumes, and I watched the entire season 1 of Sailor Moon Crystal, which is the reboot of the series, of the 90s series, and I watched that, really enjoyed that too, but same thing, it ends up that same stupid cliffhanger, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to just get the few that did something for me and just not support the rest, but I don't know. It's a strange conundrum I'm in that I've kind of just been wrestling with for a bit. So while I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes though, yeah, those will always stay with me as I really enjoyed these. And they made an impact on me, and I'm still gonna give them that because the first 2 are great. It's just, it ends on that weird cliffhanger, and yeah. If I could like blot that part out, I would recommend the first 2 volumes wholeheartedly and the first season of the anime. But you gotta blot that out. But unfortunately, there's really no way for me to do that. So, yeah. We have the next book in the Marigold Chronicles. That is A Stolen Heart by Selena R. Gonzalez. Loved this. It was so good. It's a loose retelling of The Goose Girl, and I just love this. It was so good. These characters were so good. The romance, everything about it. I just adore this. I adore Selena's books in general, but this one was just something else, and I really enjoyed it. It's probably still not one of my top favorites of her books, but I still super enjoyed this one. I have another Brittany Fichter book, which I actually tried to read, I think it was earlier in 2024, or was, yeah. No, actually I think it was 2023. I actually started this book, and then at the time, I was reading too many things at the same time, and I ended up having to drop some, and I dropped this one. Not that I wasn't enjoying it, but because, I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood for it. Picked it up at the wrong time, and that is A Curse of Gems. This is a retelling of the Toads and Diamonds fairy tale. And yeah, I just, also again, really enjoyed this one. One thing with this one, I did give it a 5-star. I probably would decrease the rating to like a 4.5 star if I went back and really thought about it, but I still really enjoyed it. It was really what I needed at the time. It's Christian fairy tale retelling, fantasy, like all of her Classical Kingdoms books are, and yeah, I just really enjoyed. There was more faith content in this book, and I really liked how it was incorporated. I saw some reviews that said people didn't like that as much, but I thought it fit for the story, and it was done really well. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this one. It was very different flavor from some of the other books in this series. And yeah, it was just a different take on like tone and location and stuff. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this one as well. I mean, I enjoyed all of these, that's why they're on this list. And now we're going to have a list of more H.O. Burke superhero books. The first one is Her Fake Superhero Boyfriend, which is, I don't know what number is it in series 5? I think it's number 5. This one surprised me. I'm not normally into the fake dating trope. I know. Most people really love that trope, but I'm just not really it doesn't draw me in. It doesn't, like, intrigue me. If I see a book with that, I'm not like, ooh, I want to read that. Most of the time, I'm just like, okay, whatever. But this is that trope, and it's with a superhero he can literally pretend to be her previous boyfriend who she broke up with, because he has the ability to change his face to look like anybody. And really interesting dynamic. The rich family that she was a part of are horrible people. They all deserved what they got in the end. More on the fluffier side than, like, the more action side of some of her stories. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this one. The characters really endeared me. And yeah, I just really wanted to see this rotten rich family get taken down. So yeah, that was very satisfying. Then we have it's the second book in the series, because I went back and reread all the ones, and read all the ones I hadn't in this series before, which is the Superhero Romance Project series. As a Superhero Ever After, this is like a Groundhog Day scenario, and really intriguing. I think I read this in a day. Was this one of the ones I read in a day? Because I know the next one I did, but I think I read this one in a day, because I just had to know what was going to happen. Yeah, I was really sucked into this one. I just had to know how he was going to get out of this loop. I just super enjoyed this one. And then the next one, which was the third book in the series, was Second Chance Superhero, and this one I think is my favorite of the Superhero Romance Project series. I just really adored this one. Again, second chance romance. I'm not normally, like, again, most romance tropes, unless it's like friends to lovers or forbidden romance, I generally am not drawn to them. But again, this one was treated with the mature angle. We did see a flashback to when they broke up as teens, which is, you know, kind of how this whole thing started, and then we get flash forward to when they're adults and how they deal with it. And there's like this ex-husband stalker dude stalking the main girl character, and she has a son, and it's a whole thing, and I just really enjoyed it. The stalkery parts were a little creepy, but in a way that was realistic, and I really appreciate how the author did it without going overboard. And I love Brayden and Rachel. Those are the two main characters. I love them. Brayden especially, he's awesome. I love him. And we have a series. This is a 6-book series. I'm not going to show all the covers. I'm just going to show the first cover, which I'm going to show, I'll probably show the first cover, and then I'm going to show the 4th cover, because book 4 was probably my favorite in the series. Kind of hard to tell. I really liked the first one too. But anyways, I really liked all of them. Let's just put it that way. And that is The White Road Chronicles by J.R. Castle. This is a Christian fantasy series. Really enjoyed it. Again, more ebooks that I actually bought full price. I just really enjoyed this series. This one surprised me. I did read the first book like 4 years ago. I never continued the series. This year I felt compelled to continue the series, and I just adored them. I think I read them all in like a month or something like that. But yeah, I just adored all of them. They were just amazing. There were some things that I was just kind of like, I wish this was developed more, like especially towards the end, but the author has stated that she's going to like be revising some of these books and stuff, so I'm kind of wondering if maybe like more of the end books will have more of that wrapping up of certain things or explanations of certain things that I was missing, but I don't know yet. But I just really enjoyed them as they are. I highly recommend the series. Yeah, it's really, really good. But yeah, I just really enjoyed all of these, and I didn't really think I kind of had a feeling I would like them, but I didn't think I would love them as much as I ended up doing. Then we have this book. This one surprised me as well because the main character is a necromancer. I pretty much avoid books where main characters are necromancers, but this one was written by Nikki Chapelway, and I trust her way she's going to write certain things like this. This is like a spooky fall read. It's a retelling of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and that is This Hollow Heart. This one surprised me again with how much I enjoyed the characters, especially of Nastya, I think is how you say her name, and Evangi. Those two, yeah, and their connection, or at least Evangi's connection to a different series in this universe, was like blew my mind, because it was like, I think I should know this name, and then it got revealed and I was like, wait, what? What is gonna happen with this now? Yeah, I just really enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought I would. And yeah, it's just really good. I will say I'm not a fan of the cover. I do like the hardback cover because it has like a different art on it, and I really like that art. But yeah, I will say I'm not a fan of this cover, but really do like the story. And another fallish book which caught me by surprise by how much I loved it, and I'm definitely going to be reading all this author's fairy tale retellings now. That is Callie and the Pumpkin Seed by Sarah Barron, I believe. This one was so freaking cute. It's a Cinderella Princess and the Pea mashup with fall vibes. The main character's a baker. Yeah, there's a prince in disguise. It is so cute. It is so stinking cute. It was wonderful. I really loved it. It's more cozy, which is like generally not my thing, but this one made it work. I adored it completely. Callie and what's Ever? I think that's his name. Ever. Yeah. They are amazing, and the puns are unreal. If you like puns, really good puns, read this book because they are amazing in this book, and I was like laughing at like nearly every single one of them. Yeah. Yeah, just really, really good. I definitely want to get a physical copy of this book at some point. Most of the books on here, actually, I do want to eventually get physical copies of, but, you know, budgeting. You can't always buy all the books you want to buy, which is a bummer, but oh well, I don't have the space for them anyways. This one, I finally finished this series. I loved it. And that is Daikken's Heir by J.L. Knight, the final book in the Ilion Chronicles. The best ending of the Ilion Chronicles. I loved this book so much. I am late to the hype train. I know I am because this book came out in 2023. I was not in the mood to read this book. I thought I was going to read the whole series beforehand. I did not reread them all, but I did read this one, and finally, and I really loved it. It was the perfect ending to this long series. I'm sad it's over, but I'm very happy I read it. I also read the 2 free short stories that are the kind of like final wrap up of this series. The Dream and Twins. Really enjoyed those as well. You can get those when you sign up for the author's newsletter. I'm excited for whatever Jay writes next, but I will definitely be coming back to reread these books. They are amazing. Christian non-magical fantasy. They are amazing. Go read them if you haven't already. They are awesome. Highly recommend. And then we have the second nonfiction that made it to this list, and that is Sustained by Michaela Bush, a 30-day devotional and study guide dedicated to remembering God's sovereignty and hardship. I underlined the heck out of this thing. This was like the best thing I could have read at the time of my life that I read it. It helped me so much. I have nearly underlined everything in here. This is amazing. It's better than Back to Him, I will say. Yeah, I will definitely say this one is better, devotional-wise, but both are equally good. Love this. This made such an impact on me, and yeah, definitely recommend it. If this sounds good to you, definitely check it out, because I am not a devotional person, but her devotionals, I will read all of them. I mean, I'll read all of her books anyways. She's one of my favorite authors. But yeah, yes, this is so good. Definitely, if this sounds like something you want to study this year, check it out. It's really good. Then we have another series. I'm not going to put the pictures up because editing this thing is going to be a nightmare. And that is a series that, yes, technically I reread this book, but I read the rest of the 9-book series of Elven Alliance by Tara Grace. These books are so freaking good. I think nearly all of them got 5 stars. 2 of them got 4.5 stars. And just, they are amazing. These characters are awesome. This world is awesome. Everything about this is awesome. I love this series. This is like probably one of my new all-time favorite series. Definitely top tier for the year. I was so sad when I finished the last book. Like, I had a book hangover, I'm sure, because it affected the next book I read. This series is amazing. If you like elf-human romances, if you like just swoony elf romances with like action and danger involved as well, read these books. They are super good. And they're all arranged marriage tropes, but without the kind of like steamy levels. Yeah, it's all sweet and clean, wonderful stories, So yeah, I just highly, highly, highly recommend this series. And this cover doesn't reflect it because this is the old cover, but the new covers are to die for gorgeous. They are just awesome. I love them all. But yeah, definitely the forest ones, because if you watch one of my other previous videos, I forget which one it is. I do mention, yes, if your book has a forest on it, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to love it. And then we have these two, which I did read previously in the year, but I'm putting them here because I'm kind of just going in order of when I read them, but except for these two, because I was debating whether to put these two on this list. But the characters still made an impact on me. Some of the things made an impact on me. I still really enjoyed these books and these characters and all that, and I still thought about them several days after I read them. The first one is House of Blood by Nikki Chapway. This is the sequel to An Apprentice of Death. I still really enjoy our two main characters in this one. I'm very nervous about what one of the main characters might have accidentally done. I really hope he didn't, because it's like, I'm a little nervous for you now, but I won't know that until the series continues. But yeah, it was definitely a nice wrap up to the little duology arc. So you could definitely read the first two books and be like complete. The series is still ongoing, but there's no like cliffhangers. After the first book, there is a cliffhanger. There isn't one after this one. But still really enjoyed this one. Gave it 4.5 stars. The same with The Gods Lost Their Way. This is the I forget the series name, but the first book is The Gods Created Monsters. Adored that book. This one I didn't adore as much, but I still loved the characters and what some of them were going through, and how some of them have changed and how they've gelled as a group and a little family. And yeah, I just really love that, and I'm very interested to see where the third book goes, because it's like the third and the final book of this trilogy. And with the way it ended, I'm very curious to see how that's gonna go down, because it's very like, how is this gonna work? But yeah, I'm very, very interested in this one. But yeah, still really enjoyed this one. Then we have yet another Once Upon a Prince book. That is The Wicked Prince by Celeste Baxendale. This one, I'd heard so many good things about this book. It's a Robin Hood retelling with Prince John as the main character. And a female Robin Hood. And yeah, it's just like, how is this gonna work? But it works. It so freaking works. It's amazing. And like, I don't know how this guy, who's like so arrogant, so full of himself, but at the same time it's like, well, it's like he's like justified in thinking that way, and then he's also so lovable, and I don't know, I'm never gonna look at this character the same way ever again, and because this book has ruined me for that, and I so much want to read more for this author's works, because if this is just a taste of her talent and her writing skill, give me all the rest of them, because yeah, I'm definitely gonna want them. This was amazing. I didn't have low expectations for this. I had medium expectations for this after hearing, again, Lindsay and Celestia and other reviews on Goodreads just gush about this book, and it does not disappoint. The hype is real for this one. We have the final superhero book, the final H.O. Burke superhero book on this list, and that is Wishing on a Supervillain. This is the fourth book in the Superhero Romance Project series. I finally caught up to this series. I am so excited. This was a 4.5 star. This one was just super, super cute. I did feel the climax for the the climax was a little like bloop. But which is why I kind of got a 0.5 star as opposed to a 5. But I still really enjoyed this. The main couple were adorable. I just love this, and I'm really glad the author's going to be continuing their story in the next book in this series. It's going to be continuing their story from here, so I'm very excited about that, because I really like these characters. They also pop up in her fake superhero boyfriend. So yeah, I really, really excited about this one, or her next one, and I just really enjoyed this one. And then we have the second to last book on this list, and yeah, it's just, I adored this one as well. This one's definitely top contender for favorite of all time of the year, and that is Princess of the Silent Moor by Brittany Fichter. This is a retelling of Princess Finola and the Dwarf, which is a very obscure Irish fairy tale, I believe, and this one was amazing. It's a novella. It's the second book in the Classical Kingdoms novella series. That's different than the novel series, which I went over in my December reading wrap-up, and I loved this book. It's just, it's just amazing, and the characters and Finola and Declan and just the whole scenario and what they went through and just the lesson of just what God showed me through this book of the strength of waiting to be rescued, how that is a strength and how it can be a strength. And I love this book. It is amazing. It is definitely one of my top Brittany Fichter books ever. And I loved it. There were cameos from previous books in this series as well with a couple of characters, and I was so happy to see them. I'm always so happy to see these characters when they pop up in these books, and yeah, I loved this book. There's just no words to put into perspective of how much I love this book. And then the last book, but definitely not the least, even though it is only a 4-star book, was another arrogant prince who is somehow charming, and I fell in love with him, and I don't know why, and that is The Silent Prince by C.J. Brightly. This is a gender-flipped Little Mermaid retelling. This blew my expectations away. I had very low expectations for this book, and it surpassed everything I could have thought it would be, and more. This guy, this prince, is just, he is such a cocky little jerk at times, but also he's just like so charming, and between him and Prince John, I was just like, what is happening here? Why do I like these guys? But anyways, this was an amazing book. So much fun. I loved it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just really good, really fun. I enjoyed every second of this book. And yeah, those are all 50 of the, at least hopefully I got the number right. If I didn't, please don't count them all and tell me I got it wrong, because I'm gonna feel really bad. But it's math and me, so they don't go together. But anyways, yeah, those were all my best favorite books of 2024. It was a really good reading year. Here, let me see if I can pick them all up while I keep talking. But, it was a really good reading year. I was kind of surprised by, like, just how good of a reading year it ended up being. So yeah, I definitely did more DNFing of books this year. I definitely was more strict about that with myself. I definitely need to be more strict. There were some books I was like, I really shouldn't have read these, but you'll be hearing about those in my worst books of the year video. Let me see. Yeah, they all are. All my favorite books of this year. Yeah, I don't know. I just really had a good reading year. It's kind of surprising, but yeah, I'm really hopeful I have a good reading year as well in 2025. I hope you guys had a great 2024 reading year. If you would like to share one or two of your favorite, all-time favorite books from 2024, please link them down. Please share them down below in the comments. I'd love to hear about them. You can share more than 2 if you want. I'm totally not regulating anybody on their number, but yeah, definitely share them down below, and I will check them out, especially if I've never heard of them, or if I'm like, ooh, I have that on my list, I might want to bump that up or down. So yeah, yeah, I had a great reading year. I hope you guys did too. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.